Welcome to the Leadership and Learning Podcast with Dr. JBT, where we dive deep into the art of leadership for emerging and advancing leaders. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your skills, this podcast is your go-to resource. We'll explore real-world scenarios, actionable solutions, and expert advice with insights drawn from Dr. JBT's own experiences and interviews with seasoned leaders. If you're serious about growing as a leader, you've come to the right place. Welcome back to Leadership and Learning with Dr. JBT. Today, we're going to talk about making intentional time for your team to step away from the day-to-day. There is something special about going to an off-site location with your team for development, team building, and strategic planning. You don't have the distractions of emails and knocks on your door. You are together, focused on the goals for the off-site retreat. This week, I am hosting our annual leadership retreat for my team. We may do mini retreats throughout the year, but this is our big one with all of us together. My team comes out differently, better at the end of the second day. We have laughed together, sometimes cried together, challenged one another, and dreamed together. And you might be asking if we do the trust fall, and no, we do not, but there are plenty of opportunities to build trust on the retreat. For me, there are 3 goals for the retreat: education, personal and professional growth of some kind, team building, building trust with one another, and lastly, strategic planning, focusing on the business and plans for the upcoming year. You don't have to have the same goals as me, but set goals. Retreats, even if just a 2-hour offsite, has a cost tied to them, and you want to make sure you can validate that it was worth it. Be intentional about the goals you want to accomplish. I am a learner at heart and an avid reader, so each year there is a book connected to the retreat. I choose it in the spring, buy everyone a copy, and we all read it before the retreat with some pre-work to reflect intentionally on the content of the book. You may not be able to get everyone a book, but there are fantastic articles online about leadership or your industry that can make people think, and it can lead to great dialogue. I'll leave a list of the books I have used in the past in my show notes. How are you learning and growing as a leader and within your profession? How are you helping your team learn and grow as well? We actually spent a good portion of the first day focused on the book. These discussions also lead to our second goal of team building. The reflections cause people to share openly about their own leadership, where they're strong and where they have areas to improve. Vulnerability leads to trust, and honest reflection leads to growth. Let me say that again. Vulnerability leads to trust, and honest reflection leads to growth. This is foundational for our time together. While the content is robust and challenges us as individual leaders and as a leadership team, it also opens up a window to our hearts and allows our teammates to be able to see into our world a little further. How are you being intentional about creating moments of vulnerability and reflection to build your team? It starts with you as the leader. Aside from the conversation about the book, we also do a team building activity. Sometimes there's an underlining training in that team building, and sometimes it's just good old-fashioned fun and competition. One year they had to hunt a killer, a simulation that challenged their process and creative thinking. Another year we did an Olympic relay with giant games. Laughing together is great team building. In work, these leaders often disagree and have competing priorities. At the retreat, they're reminded that they enjoy one another and have real friendships. It makes disagreements in the workplace easier to navigate. So I ask you, how are you having fun with your team? Does your team laugh together? Lastly, we do some strategic planning. This can take all shapes and forms, but it ends with some goals set for the upcoming year where we can focus as an entire division, not just as individual teams. We do this work together with reflection and open dialogue to gain buy-in to what we are agreeing about and committing to. I like to include this goal because it is much easier to focus on the business when we are not in the business. Retreats get us away from the day-to-day and allow us to see our work from a different perspective. And that new perspective allows us to be strategic and not just managing the urgent. As you think about your team, ask yourself, how are you investing in them as individuals, as a team, and as a department who wants to excel in what they do? What does your team need? Not everyone can get away for 2 days. Maybe you just get 2 hours. And what can you be intentional about building to make your team stronger? Do they need to work more cohesively together as a team? Then team building activities make a strong team. Maybe try an escape room if your budget allows. If your team needs to grow in their profession, then make it educational and bring an article for them to read and discuss. If your team needs direction because they're getting stuck in the how we've always done it, then create space for strategy, challenging how they've always done it. Reflect on what your team needs and take action. Again, it doesn't have to be every month. It could be annually. Consider what is possible. Consider what is needed for your team and go for it. This is Leadership and Learning with Dr. JBT signing off.